I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll always stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more.
Last week, we talked about grace and gratitude. And Danny sang this song, I Claim a Blessing. And one of the lines in the song said, in the morning before I lift my head, I claim a blessing. And I gave you that as something to do this week. Did anyone try it? Oh, great. I see a lot of hands. Good. Every time I happen to catch a little bit of the news and Michael the hurricane, if they're interviewing someone, what I hear each person say, no matter what happened to them, and some of them lost everything. If you've seen the pictures, there's a slab where their house was. But even those people are expressing gratitude. Gratitude about what our blessings really are. And sometimes it takes a tragedy to realize what my blessings are. And so what I know for each and every one of you is you all have loads and loads and loads of blessings. And the fact that you're sitting in this room is one of them. So after last week's talk, and we addressed the financial challenges that the church is in right now, and we affirmed that with our gratitude and with our grace, that we have the power to overcome any situation. I have moved. I went to a retreat, a spiritual retreat sometime in the spring, and I had a very powerful spiritual experience, and I had no idea I was going to be talking about this. So I want to tell you, this is just coming out right now. It's not in those notes. But I experienced what's called a crystal bed bath, which is brought from Brazil, from John of God. Has anyone heard of John of God? All right, he's a healer. And I had an experience that I couldn't explain. After that, I had another interaction that represented John of God. I've been so moved and I'm given such strong guidance that at the beginning of November, I will be gone for 2 weeks because I will be in Brazil with John of God. And so came this week's talk. And it's called The Soul of the World. How many of you know this book, The Alchemist? Some of you, right? I missed it when it first came out. And I was suggested by a friend a while ago, you might want to read this. And I picked it up, and you can see all my things. I've read many, many books. But this touched some places, and it's exactly where I am right now. And in this book it says, wherever your heart is, I think you have that, Andrew, wherever your heart is, that is where you will find your treasure. And I went, I know this. It's in the Bible, right? Matthew 6:21, and it says there, for where your heart is, there, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So I'm looking at the two of them. One says, wherever your heart is, that is where you will find your treasure. This says, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Have you heard something or read something many, many times, and then all of a sudden you read it and it's just a little differently, and you get it at a deeper... That's what this did to me. I understood this in a whole different way. The dictionary says that treasure is something of great worth and value, like gold and silver and jewels. You know, the pirates search for the treasures and they uncover that chest and it's just oozing with all that glittery stuff. And so why do they... And they go all over trying to find this treasure. Why? Because they feel that when they get that treasure, all that gold and silver and money, They can go buy stuff that's going to do what? Make them happy. So how long have you been searching for your hidden treasure? You know, that stuff we buy, and if I get a new car, if I get a new house, if I get a new top, I feel good for a while, right? And then what happens? 10 years go by and that car is getting older and older. It's not giving me any joy anymore. It's starting to give me some problems, right? Things get old. They wear out. Or I get tired of them. I outgrow them. That outfit I really, really like that I can't fit into anymore. It doesn't bring me happiness anymore. We look for things. We look for things for our happiness. And that's not where we find them. That's not the treasure. That's not the treasure of our heart. And what happens? What happens when all my stuff, when I die? When I sit and work at home, I have a home office, and there's a big window, and it looks out across the street, and my neighbor's house is there. And they're a couple, probably about the average age of most of you here. And past few months, there's been a flurry of activity there as healthcare workers have been going in, as family has been going in. He was put into hospice. And so all kinds of vehicles and trucks and people going in and out, in and out. And now there's not. He has passed. And now I sit watching my talk as the wife comes out and walks her dog, and I can almost feel her sadness through my walls. Beautiful home. Things they worked over 50 years for. But her happiness isn't there anymore. Remember, accumulating stuff is not where your happiness is. In fact, it will distract you from it. Andrew, would you put the first one up? There is only one source for our happiness. We have on our wall here, God is love. God is love. Source is love. And our basic unity principles, the first principle is there's only one power and one presence. And when I focus on stuff to make me happy, I'm making that stuff my God. And that is not where my happiness is. The second one, Andrew, please. Source provides, God provides, Spirit provides everything I need or desire. If I want a better life, if I want this world to be better, it's up to me, it's my responsibility to connect to Source, to connect to God. And how do we do that? How do we do that? This goes back to last week's talk. Through that deep, profound gratitude, not for anything. Just close your eyes and take a breath and allow yourself in this moment to just say thank you and feel what that does inside you. Thank you. Just thank you. And you'll feel a blessing wash over you. This is the power of gratitude, deep, profound gratitude, and it connects us to Spirit. It connects us to God. It connects us to everything we could ever want, and it opens us up to that love that is deeper than human love, that unconditional love that reaches out and touches everyone and everything, that love that helps me remember who I really am. If you ever are feeling guilty, if you're blaming yourself, if you're beating yourself about something, that's not who you are. Learn to step into the power of who you are. Each one of you are unique and beautiful and special in your own way. And you have a power within you, and I can tell you this because I came from a place where I had absolutely no self-confidence. In high school, I would not raise my hand to answer a question, even if it meant getting an A, because I couldn't speak. There's a power within us. There is God's Spirit within us. And I have to let it out. I have to stand in it. I have to affirm it. I have to know it. I have to trust it. And I am so off my notes. I love you guys. I love you being here. This church has allowed me to grow into who I came here to be. And I appreciate each and every one of you so much for that. This love is what transforms the soul of the world, because we are the soul of the world. It can't change, it can't transform without us. We have one job. Have you ever seen those funny things they put up? You've only had one job, and they sew a sign that was supposed to be one way, and I wish I'd put something up there so you could see it. But you only have one job. I only have one job. You only have one job, and that's to realize that this time on this planet is not about my earthly journey. It's not about material things. My time on this planet is for my soul to grow, for me to realize my connection with my soul, to feel it, to know it, to live from it. My soul's job and your soul's job is to nourish the soul of the world. When I look out there, when I see the news, when I see things I don't like, my job. Can I step in? Can I do my work in my spiritual growth? The soul of the world. Andrew, would you put that up, please? The soul of the world will be either better or worse, depending on whether we become better or worse. The next one. The soul of the world will be either better or worse, depending on whether I become better or worse. Read it with me. The soul of the world will be either better or worse, depending on whether I become better or worse. I will never find that peace I'm looking for. I will never find that happiness I'm looking for, as long as I keep thinking it's going to be in my worldly treasures. Now, there's nothing wrong with having stuff, guys. I love my stuff, but it's not my priority. Don't make it your priority. The soul of the world will be either better or worse, dependent on whether I become better or worse. What if your life was centered on that belief? What if? How would your days be different than they are now? How would your thoughts be different than they are now if that were your belief? How would you interact with others differently if this were your belief? How would you be different if you knew that you were creating a world for better or worse? Look at your power. Look at your gift. Lasting joy, peace, happiness isn't found in chasing the ultimate thing. The job, the girl, the car, the house, the stuff. The belief that through my career, how hard I work, the new business I have, I'm going to get rich. I'm going to find the treasure. And then what happens? Like my neighbor across the street. I grow older. My body doesn't do what I want it to do anymore. And I'm still chasing, aren't I? I still haven't found it. Listen closely to your heart. Listen closely to your heart. Not those crazy thoughts running around in your head that are confusing you, creating tension, stress. Listen closely to your heart, because only your heart will tell you what you're seeking. Wherever your heart is, that is where you will find your treasure. Matthew 6:24. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. No one can serve two masters. You will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. I cannot serve God. I cannot serve my spiritual journey and my human stuff. Our heart's a compass. It's in control of our life center, and it connects us to the soul of the world. Your heart knows what direction to move in. Listen to it. It will never lead you astray. Take a breath with me, because I need one. When you make the decision to put your spiritual journey first, it's like diving into a powerful current. And you move with it. And it takes you places you never dreamed of going. If you asked me last year, John of God would have been the last place in the world I'd want to go. But I can't not go. Once you make the decision to put your spiritual journey first, don't get distracted by the unknown, by the details, by how you think you're supposed to do it. And don't let anyone else influence you. Don't let me influence you. It's your heart, not mine. I'm following mine. You follow yours. Because we don't want to end up living somebody else's life. So other people in all goodness can try to guide you and direct you. And if they're people of wisdom, and if what they're saying is aligned, you feel it inside, then yes, you can accept what they're saying. You can let it help you a little bit. Once you decide to put your spiritual journey first, every step you take will be guided. And the step after that, and the step after that, and the step after that, the distractions, the fear will fade away. And there'll be a trust. There was such a trust that every step you take will be clear. Some of you know that I lived on a sailboat for 2 years off the coast of California and then in the Bahamas. And when I was on that boat, there was nowhere else I wanted to be. There was nothing else I wanted to be doing. I'd found my treasure, so I thought. Way before I knew unity. And one day, it wasn't a voice, but a thought went through my head. It was so strong. And it said, go back to land. This is not what you came here this time to do. Go back to land. This is not what you came here this lifetime to do. It seemed like I was leaving my treasure. But now I absolutely understand why I was not to stay there. When you make the decision to seek your spiritual treasure, it's the most important decision you will ever make. And you've all done it. You're sitting here, right? Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's like entering uncharted territory. But once you make that decision, nothing is ever going to be the same again. Every second of that journey is a second's encounter with Spirit. Take a breath. You will have moments of light, moments of awareness, moments of clarity, moments of great peace. None of these of which you can experience by acquiring stuff. Andrew, would you put the next one up, please? When I strive to become better than I am, everything around me becomes better too. Why wouldn't it? It's a ripple effect, isn't it? Becoming better benefits everyone around you, your family, your friends, your community. Benefits your health. Seek your heart's treasure. Put work into it and watch it change who you are and your life forever. This is a quote I found in the book that was the one that probably impacted me the most. Would you put the next one up, Andrew? Be aware of the place where you are brought to tears. That's where I am, and that's where your treasure is. In those moments that you really feel that connection to God, it will be so big that there will be tears that spring up, and you won't know where they came from. Not our human tears, not our emotional tears. Be aware of the place where you are brought to tears. That's where I am. I am Spirit, God, presence, the mystery. That's where I am. And that's where your treasure is. Wherever your heart is, that is where you will find your treasure. We are the soul of the world. So this week, see if you can shift your focus from seeking. Notice what you're seeking right now in the world. See if you can shift that focus from seeking that worldly treasure for your joy, your peace, your happiness. And make a decision this week. Make the decision to stop seeking your spiritual treasure first. And you can have someone help you. You can ask your spouse, your partner, a prayer partner, someone close to you. Say, hey, if I come to you and start complaining about all the stuff in the world that's happening, would you just remind me of who I really am? Would you remind me to put seeking Spirit first? Make an agreement with them. Maybe you can do that with them. It's great to help each other with this. You're not waving your finger. You're not telling them what to do. You have to be in agreement to allow someone to gently remind you. I have that agreement with a lot of you guys out here, and you really remind me. You're on me. You are important. You are needed. And you have the power within you to transform the soul of the world. God bless you.